I'm Maverick. Just an average college student attending an agricultural university in the countryside. In the future, I plan to take over the family business in this rural town and help with the work at our family's orchard. I never really had a dream for the future, nor did I want to do anything in particular. And unlike the locals, I have no desire to yearn for the glittering city. Since I was young, I've been familiar with nature and have harbored a genuine interest and curiosity in plants and agriculture. Maverick, could you come here for a moment? Yes, Karen. You can call me Mom, you know. It's been 2 years since you came to this house. We're family, right? Yeah, sorry. It's just habit. I'm not blood related to my current family. Born in a small farming village, I lost my parents 2 years ago. It's an event from that day I'd rather not remember. While I was away at university, our house was broken into by a burglar. It was 2:30 p.m. Normally, both my parents would be working in the fields, and the house would be empty. But that day, they happened to take a late break and were relaxing at home. The burglar must have thought the house was empty and broken, but of course, ran into my parents. In the scuffle with my father, the burglar, who had a knife, attacked him. Then, as my mother tried to call for help, the burglar attacked her as well, injuring them both. A devil who took my parents' lives to satisfy his own desires. I can forgive that selfish murderer. Even if he is judged by the law, my deceased parents will never return. After the incident, I was taken in by distant relatives, the Johnsons. Apparently, the couple had always been unable to have children. My stepmother had always dreamed of being a mother, and when I became her stepson, she was overjoyed and told me so with a smile. Having a college-aged son suddenly might have been daunting, but the Johnsons were kind and warm people. Once Maverick graduates from college, our orchard will be secure. I'd be anxious to leave our precious grapes in the hands of just anyone. Now I can retire in peace. It seems my father was worried about the issue of succession, but he genuinely trusts me. Given such straightforward love, I earnestly feel that I want to respond to it. They provided for my tuition and living expenses and even gave me my own room, respecting whatever I wanted to do to the utmost. I want to repay them one day. With that in mind, I spend my days learning about agriculture and everything about orchard horticulture. I have no complaints about my life or situation, and there's nothing I particularly want. Since that event, I vowed not to be too ambitious. No matter how pure, righteous, and beautiful one lives their life, there are villains who trample on others' happiness with dirty feet everywhere. The day I lost my parents, my heart was filled with a sense of despair akin to resignation. I realized that efforts, dreams, and ambitions were meaningless. I decided to live the reality given to me, plainly. I honestly confided my feelings to my mother. Maverick, you're still young, so don't talk like an old manual. Your father wants you to take over the orchard. But if you have something else you want to do, you can always go to the city anytime, she said with kind words. In the quiet country town, where time flows slowly, such robbery incidents are rare. If there's a problem happening now, it would be the issue with Tyler. You know, I heard that Tyler's front yard is a mountain of trash again. Recently, the garbage has even piled up on a sidewalk, and it's becoming a problem in the neighborhood. Good grief. Not again. We just cleaned it up last month. One day on a weekend. After dinner, my father was relaxing in the living room, and I was absent-mindedly watching a baseball game on TV. While carrying a tray with 3D cups, my mother started talking about Tyler. It has become a custom for our family of 3 to spend about an hour together after dinner, but lately, our conversations have often revolved more around this issue than brighter topics. Tyler lives just a 4-minute walk from our house. He resides in a nearby single-family home. and he's one of the villagers who is shunned by the entire community. Really. I thought he was a nice guy until he lost his wife 3 years ago. I don't know how it turned into such a mess of garbage. With the mountain of trash in front of his house, the inside must be even worse. It's near our orchard, and there are customers around. So I wish he'd at least clean up the garbage spilling onto the sidewalk. Mom sighed deeply, and my father folded his newspaper in exasperation. Tyler's house is known in the neighborhood as a trash hoarder's house. The trash had piled up so much that it obstructed the passage, so a month ago, volunteers from the village gathered and removed all the garbage with a contracted company, but recently the scattering started again. It seems he's begun leaving his indoor trash bags outside, and the sidewalk is getting buried in garbage again. Despite Mom's involvement in the volunteer garbage disposal effort, it all seems to have been in vain. The neighbors are planning another cleanup mid-next month, but leaving it like that until then is problematic. We want to move at least some of the trash to the collection site. It's disheartening to see that mess. The smell is so bad it could twist your nose. Maverick, could you help your mom with the cleanup? Yeah, got it. It was a request from the parents I owe so much to. Of course, I nodded in agreement. On a day off from university lectures, I decided to go with my mother to Tyler's house. After about a 4-minute walk down a gentle slope, Tyler's single-family house comes into view. The house appears as a normal 2-story dwelling, but it's surrounded by mountains of trash bags, including recyclables like magazines, books, and newspapers, as well as larger items like bicycles and appliances. If we were to clean it all up, carrying the trash to the collection site would be quite a task. Luckily, the closest waste collection site is just down the slope, near the intersection ahead. Except for the heavy bulky waste, a few trips should be enough to tidy up a good portion. Normally, taking out the trash on designated days isn't too much of an effort for most people. Yet, for some reason, Tyler keeps accumulating garbage quickly. It seems he doesn't have the mindset to throw things away. You again. Don't come near my house. I kept my promise a month ago and got rid of only the unnecessary stuff. I won't forgive you if you touch my things again. Tyler, yes, I understand. We won't throw away anything necessary. Can we just clear the bags spilling onto the sidewalk? For the people who pass by. Mom smiled kindly and spoke to Tyler, who had appeared at his house. To clean up, it seems we first need to persuade Tyler. Tyler emerged from his house wearing a yellow tank top and loose pants. Skillfully navigating through the garbage piled in front of his home, he approached us. Just standing here felt nauseating due to the stench, and the smell was so bad it was giving me a headache. But Mom maintained her smile even in this situation. Just a little bit is fine. You can keep everything inside and in front of your house. Can we just clean up the bags on the sidewalk? For the sake of people walking by. Don't treat my belongings like trash, you damn hag. Please, don't talk like that. Stop it, please. Tyler, ignoring Mom's suggestion, yelled and threw a plastic garbage bag at her. I instinctively stepped in front of Mom and deflected the garbage bag. What the hell, kid? Are you in the way too? Maverick, it's okay, I'm fine. If they are so important to you, don't throw them at people. Do you have any idea how much trouble you're causing others? I found myself stepping between Mom and Tyler, raising my voice in the heat of the moment. I was surprised at my own reaction, unable to control it. Tyler's incredibly selfish behavior triggered my past traumas. A person who hurts others and attacks without remorse to get their way. My anger, even after 2 years, hasn't faded. It still smolders within me. Shut up, leave. This is my house. Don't you dare take my things. Filthy thieves. Tyler lost control and started hurling garbage bags one after another. Among the trash are small appliances and fragile items. If hit in the wrong spot, they could cause serious injury. I'm not confident I could stay calm if something were to happen to my mother. I stepped back from the sidewalk, shielding my mother. It's impossible to persuade him like this. Let's go back home for now. Why the heck? Why not just dispose of his trash without his permission? As I vented my frustration on the way back home, my mother gently patted my shoulder. I'm happy you protected me, Maverick, but if we forcefully clean up against his will, he'll never change. It wouldn't solve the root problem. It'd just be a temporary fix like last month, only for the same thing to happen again. That might be true, but I understand what my mother means, but I can't imagine that a man as wild and uncommunicative as a beast would be open to persuasion. Tyler is a pitiable man. Really. How? He just looks like a selfish old man living in a trash house to me. After discussing and deciding to take some time before trying to persuade him again, we returned to the living room. As my mother arranged the small plates of snacks and teacups on the table, she began to explain Tyler's circumstances bit by bit. It seems Tyler was devoted to his wife, who has passed away. Originally a misanthrope and unfriendly, he seldom interacted with neighbors, but his affectionate relationship with his wife was often noticed. Apparently, Tyler has a son, but they've been estranged for over 10 years, and the son hasn't come home. After losing his only family, he started hoarding trash like that. Hearing her talk, I could feel some sympathy. He lost his beloved wife and is almost estranged from his son. Perhaps his loneliness drove him to madness. But that doesn't justify causing trouble for unrelated people, and you, Mom. I can't easily forgive Tyler for that. Maverick, with a hint of sadness in her eyes, my mother looked at me and murmured, "Indeed." Even after that, she didn't give up on reconciling with Tyler. So, after my morning college classes ended, I agreed to accompany her again to persuade him. As usual, a foul stench lingered in front of Tyler's house, and the sight of garbage piled up like a wall was overwhelming, even though I had seen it before. It's no wonder people avoid getting close. "Ah, Mom, are you okay?" My mother stumbled over a garbage bag on the sidewalk, nearly falling, so I quickly grabbed her arm to support her. Beyond anger, a sense of resignation and sorrow welled up in me due to the difficulty pedestrians faced walking on the path. "Thank you, Maverick, I'm sorry. I was just spaced out." "Don't apologize. It's all Tyler's fault." The garbage bags at our feet were filled with miscellaneous items. Plastic cups and unidentifiable pottery. Just parts and junk, with no clear purpose. Many sharp and hard objects, dangerous if someone were to collide with them. "Mom, did you hurt your foot?" "No, I'm fine." Today, I was determined to give Mr. Tyler a piece of my mind, no matter what. And then, at that moment, "What's this?" Catching a glimpse of the contents of a garbage bag, I found an old glass-framed picture inside. It looks like an old photo. I think it's Tyler's wife when she was young. Inside the glittering glass frame was a photo of Tyler's wife, smiling gently. I can't believe it's in a garbage bag. Isn't she someone important to him? Tyler, who was said to have loved only his deceased wife. Now, he's a resident of a trash house, hooting garbage in front of his house and on the sidewalk, causing trouble for others. Maybe he himself has forgotten about it. My mother rummaged through the garbage and pulled out the photo frame from the bag. I leaned in to look into the garbage bag as well. And there, what I thought was just junk, the bag contained a pearl necklace, lipstick, and women's clothing. These shouldn't be just thrown on the roadside. I'll have a word with Tyler about this. Yes, we should give these to Tyler, for his wife's sake. My mother and I collected the bag filled with Tyler's wife's belongings and stood in front of his house. "You again. Enough is enough. If you keep lurking around my house and throwing away my important things, I won't let you off easy." Noticing us, Tyler came out, pushing through the garbage towards the gate. I presented the garbage bag we had picked up earlier. "This is important to you. then it should be kept inside the house, not left on the sidewalk. You can complain if it gets collected. Shut up. It's just outside temporarily because there's no room inside. Tyler seemed to feel no guilt about leaving his personal belongings in a public space. He even argued that he was right, and anyone who disposed of his things was the criminal. Barely containing my anger, I turned to Tyler and said, "Look closely inside the bag." "What, Susan? Is that you? You were here all along." As soon as he noticed the photo in the bag, Tyler's expression and tone changed drastically. Life seemed to return to his bloodshot, bulging eyes. When Tyler lunged at me, yelling, "Give it back," I quickly hid the bag behind my back. "You're the one who left your wife's things on the roadside, right? Aren't you treating your important belongings like trash? What did you say? Next month, when the villagers call the cleanup crew, the bags in front of your house will be removed, and even your beloved wife's belongings might be discarded. If you don't want that, please clean up the sidewalk." "Shut up. Just give me back Susan already." Tyler, his face red with anger, grabbed the front of my shirt. Then my mother, who had been watching quietly until now, tapped Tyler on a shoulder and spoke in a soothing tone. "Tyler, your wife wants to return to your home. Why don't you clean up the items on the sidewalk for her? Then she can return home in peace." Susan, everyone in the neighborhood knows Tyler's wife loved cleanliness. It was she who used to sweep the leaves from the sidewalk and clean in front of your house, wasn't it? Hearing my mother's words, Tyler gradually calmed down. "I'll help you clean up. Keep your precious memories close. Do you want them to be treated like trash by someone else?" Tyler, crestfallen, took the garbage bag with the photo frame from my hand. He seemed to be somewhat receptive to what we were saying. As we started sorting out things to dispose of, my father, having finished work, joined in the cleanup. At this moment, with my new family and the lonely Tyler working together, I felt a sense of relief as if my murky emotions were being washed away. "Mom, Dad, I'm going to properly sort through my parents' belongings soon." "Yes, that would be good. Your parents would surely be happy about that, Maverick." Since my parents' passing, their belongings, packed in cardboard boxes, had been sealed in my closet. As I watched the sidewalk gradually getting cleaner, wiping sweat from my forehead, I felt a renewed desire to properly organize and cherish those memories.